What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Omni-sensei back with part 4 of What If Overbullied Izuku Midoriya Chose to Become a Villain. If you enjoy my content, consider buying me a coffee. Link in the description. Like the video, share, and subscribe. Remember to check out the author of this fantastic fanfic. Link in the description. With all that out of the way, let's get into it.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
I stare at the owner as he stares back at me. He shouts in a loud and displeased voice, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" "I'm just doing what I think is right, sir. I will sue you for everything you're worth." "Right. Do you want to know something that changed after I entered the company?" I became sane. I now understand that everything that I thought and believed up to this point was a white light told to give me hope. But now I have power. I don't need to hope. Puppet strings, I say with an undertone. My shadows lift him up from his own shadow, grasping at his arms and legs. Now this is how it's gonna go. You're going to give me everything. He has fear in his eyes, almost knowing what's about to happen. You're the poop war. I cut off his voice with my quirk. Before he can call for help, of course. I pull out a shareholder contract. Almost anticipated this would happen. This was the only way I could get into a meeting with you. You tried to destroy me, now I'm going to destroy you. I push the papers forward into his view. If you don't want to jump out of a 50-story building, you are going to do as I say. This contract is under an alias. That will be the figurehead of the company, the alternate identity that All for One gave me. If they don't investigate the person, I should be able to control this company without being known as a villain. I can't force them to replicate their signature. However, I can make them do it in a way that would make them piss themselves. This stupid person, alone, controls 70% of the company's shares. You are going to fill out this contract. You will lose your business, but you will keep your life. MPH, let me tell you a story. A few months ago, a friend of mine presented me with an opportunity, and he investigated me well. He knew that I was just a simple intern, however he gave me a purpose and equipment. Let me put an emphasis on that equipment. I pull out a ring that is big enough to fit around his chest. You are probably wondering why I'm telling you this. You could just blab to the authorities, right? Well, that is a big no. You see, my friend has the ability to allow for conditions to be used on equipment. He has a very strange quirk, of course. It was the same quirk that allowed him to put a disguise ability on my mask. It was unfortunate that it broke. This quirk was also used on this ring. Funny, right? What could a ring do? Well, this ring was also given a condition as well. Unfortunately, it is put on your neck is too conspicuous. That's why I made it to be put on your chest. If you utter a word about our conversation or anything I said, or even tamper with this device, it will close up like a bear trap, removing all the air from your lungs, preventing you from speaking and allowing you to slowly suffocate. Do you understand what I'm saying? He starts nodding his head vigorously. Then sign the contract. Tears start to form in his eyes, as all of his life work starts to crumble. He knows he only has one choice in this situation. He signs. I laugh. We have a hell of a day. I compare the contracts with the other paperwork in his office. I see that his signatures were different. Are you trying to play me? I love games. However, when I'm on the losing end, I tend to get a bit jumpy. I say as grit my teeth, moving him towards the window as I slowly open it. I grasp his hair as I make him lean over and see the drop. Want to go bungee jumping? We don't have a rope, so we will just have to make do with what we have. I slowly nudge him closer and closer until the heels of his feet are the only thing that remains as I grab his collar. My hand is the only thing that is preventing him from falling. So are you going to sign it properly? He nods his head as he cries. He pisses himself. What a pathetic man. I walk him back to the chair with my puppet strings. Sign it. I say in a calm voice as I see the signature already filled out. Oh wait, my bad. I knew you were gonna be a pain about this, so I brought a Kuupi Nuo sign it. Although, unwillingly. He signs the contract. Good. Now for the device. Arms up. I forcefully lift his arms up with my quirk, and I take off his shirt. I place the device over his lungs, and press a button on my remote to tighten it. Now you see, I'm not a fan of killing. However, if you kill yourself by not complying, it isn't any of my business, is it? He nods as I start to leave the room with the contract. If you utter a word about this, try to go against my actions or try to defuse the device attached to you. You will die. Yes, please just don't hurt me. Good. We've come to an understanding. Please organize a meeting, stating that the ownership of the company will be transferred to Akira Haruto. Hopefully we won't have to meet again. Next time I come here, I expect to see you gone. Don't worry, I won't touch your finances as long as you comply. Yes. Yes, what? Yes, sir. Time passes as I return to the League of Villains. I hand off the legal documents of the shareholder contract that have my new alias written to it. Of course, I can't go out in public like this anyway. I use cosmetics, contacts and a wig to change my appearance, along with a mouth muffle mask to cover the majority of my face. Although it is a lot of effort, it is necessary. The alias that I'm using allows me to build the company, create connections, and allows myself to have access to a range of equipment and resources, not only to support myself, but to support the League and the fight against heroes. Stain had it right. Heroes are fakes, but killing them isn't the way forward. Making them feel useless, helpless. Making them feel quirkless is the only way to cleanse and redeem this society. Days pass as news articles come out. All news of my appearance during the press conference has been blocked off. I only used it as an excuse to get in touch with the company owner. Stocks start to rise up again as all bad press or connections that were severed as a result of All for One has been rectified. Everything went to plan. The company owner announced his retirement and will be leaving the company in 2 weeks, and that the new owner has already been decided. Other news came out about the USJ incident. The hero killer has been officially defeated by All Might. The League of Villains injured 4 teachers, making it possible that they never can be able to work as heroes again. These victims were Ray Surehead, Vlad King, Ectoplasm and Power Loader. It doesn't go into detail about the injuries they suffered, however this isn't the most important news that was covered. The videos that we recorded of All Might in his weakened state were published to every possible outlet. It was widely reported that the symbol of peace may be dying. Villains from every possible location have started to move as crime is on the rise, because of the belief that All Might is weakened. A week passes, it is reported that Izuku Midoriya is missing. All Might didn't reveal my name as the puppeteer. During this time, I've just been sitting in the League of Villains at the dismay of Shigaraki, eating sundaes like a boss. Today, we have some new recruits. I look in surprise, as I didn't expect them to bring in new people so soon. The lineup of different people appear. Shigaraki immediately tries to attack them. I restrict him with my shadow bind, grabbing at his arms and legs to stop him. After he stops his resistance, I let go of him with my quirk, and he shakes off where I grabbed him, as if he was saying I'm made of dirt. He walks away, looking back one more time at the new recruits. I'm Himiko, Toga. My name is WHHHH, she shouts. You're the puppeteer, right, Stain's apprentice. Your height, your quirk, your stare, it must be you. I'm a huge fan. Did you use hair dye? I like the white look. As I look in surprise as she runs towards me. She grasps at my hands and shouts. Himiko stares at me closely, right into my eyes. Yeah please, call me Deku. I suddenly get flustered at this girl grabbing at my hands. Suddenly alright, Decon. It's really nice to meet you. No, it's just Deku. But I want to make cute names, she shouts, retorting as if acting like a child. She is crazy. I look at her closer and despite her personality, she is quite cute. She has ash blonde hair wrapped up into messy buns. She's wearing a standard school uniform. Is this everyone? No. We have a few more people, however they unfortunately cannot come. They are slightly eccentric. More than her, my mind drifts as she suddenly shouts at me. What you thinking about? She appears right in front of my face, leaning in closely, inches apart. You guys mentioned Stain, right? Were you a fan of his? I back away from her and change the subject, getting uncomfortable. You bet. He dominated his enemies. I heard it took 4 pro heroes at UA to take him down. Not really an exaggeration, as All Might, Midnight, Vlad King, Snipe and Eraserhead were the ones fighting him. If anything, they're downplaying Stain. Yeah, he was cool. Dobby says with a low tone. I guess he isn't much of a talker. They're polar opposites to each other. Both Toga and Dobby supported Stain. They might not be so bad. I might be able to get along with the can I have your blood what? Where the hell did that come from? I look at her extremely strangely as I get a dangerous vibe from her. I need to keep my distance at all costs. She continues to stare at me with a carnivorous smile. Forget what I was gonna say about getting along with them. Christ, oh yeah, Dekin, are you going to watch the sports festival? Toga says, clearly trying to make conversation with me. Deku and I would have liked to. I don't have any tickets, though. Plus, I might be recognized well for the tickets. I have some right here. And for your identity, well, you could just go as your alias. Kurajiri chimes in, bringing the tickets out of nowhere, as if it was some cheap plot device. I guess still unsure, even with my disguise, there's still a chance Katsuki-kun would notice me. You could take your new teammates, Kurajiri says, whilst covering his mouth, to stop me from noticing his giggle, but I notice. Are you kidding? Taking her would be like announcing villains are coming to attack. What's wrong with taking me? She pouts in response. You asked if you could have my blood. You look delicious, though it's a compliment. She slurps in response to my statement. This is what I'm talking about. This is why we can't have nice things. Both Dabi and Kurajiri looks at me oddly. Shigaraki has already left. Are you guys really having a lover's quarrel already? Dabi says as he looks at us bickering. No. Yes. We both scream at each other at the same time. I feel like this conversation is going to be very drawn out. If I don't accept their offer, it will also give me notes on the UA's student abilities for the future. Fine. You can come with me to watch the sports festival, just don't get in my way. Then it's a date. Yoi. Oh my god, I'm going to kill her. Star. I instantly regret my decision. It will take a bit of time before the company is transferred to me in the first place. The amount of quirks All For One has is insane. This wouldn't have worked without that device. Well, I could probably hide in his shadow and made him hang himself, however that would draw too much attention. We start to walk with our amazing disguises. We begin to head to the sports festival, as several days had passed since I received the tickets from Kurajiri. Dabi, why do I have to do this? Deku, because if you don't come, I'm pretty sure I'll get stabbed in the back. Toga, I would never stab my D-kun. When will you stop with that nickname? Ooh, but it's so cool. If you don't like it, how about Puppy-chan? PFFT, I feel like I just spat out blood from that. How the hell did you get Puppy-chan? Because you're the puppeteer. Duh. Sometimes you are so dumb, puppy. Don't talk as if we've known each other for years. Secondly, D-kun is fine, just don't start calling me puppy. You two are making me sick. Dabi chimes in, with a nauseous look on his face. Where are we? Dabi states. I was following D-kun. I have a feeling she really wants to call me puppy. I was following you as well, don't tell me we're lost. I look around and without realizing it, we entered a dark alley. We were at a cross-section with 4 different alleyways. From each of the 4 directions, someone came to block us in. Oh ho. Seems like we have some new prey on our turf. Yeah, let's dice them. Do we have to? Let's wreck them. I look forward at the group of thugs. This is about as cliché as it gets. There's a cocky thug, the crazy one, the lazy one and the Wreck-It Ralph one. The most cliché group of thugs I've ever seen. So how about you guys? Surrender all you got. Are you kidding? I can't even believe if this is just some comedic sketch or if they really want to rob us. What part of this is a joke? Your life is on the line, as if. Dabi retorts bluntly. Dakin, can I play with them? She has sparkly eyes, as if looking at them like they're new toys. I mean, we are already lost. We might miss the festival if we take too long. Hey thug guys, do you have a map? Sure, I guess want to use it. Dumbus, what are you saying? We are robbing them. My bad. He looks utterly depressed. I guess we have a little time to spare. We could also take the map off of them. Ease. I'll give them a nice happy smile. She pulls out a knife from seemingly nowhere. I knew she was gonna stab me. This is such a bother. How about I just roast them? No, I want to have fun. She starts shaking Dabi back and forth extremely fast. He accepts it, lifelessly. I can see his soul escaping out of his mouth. How about this? You guys take the 2 on the left, I'll take the 2 on the right. I state, trying to negotiate with them. Don't tell me what to do. I want to show Puppy that I'm strong. She covers her mouth, still wearing a wicked grin after hearing what she said. Let's just get this over with. I look at her with anger in my eyes as I feel like she will never stop calling me those stupid names. I should just give up. Are you guys finished with your lover spat? Okay. I made up my mind. You guys have the other 3. I want this cocky prick. I feel like all my veins are about to burst in anger. PFFT, there are 4 of us and 3 of you. What are you guys gonna do to us? Shadow walk using the void realm. I disappear for a split moment, appearing right behind him, grasping at neck, gripping him so that he starts to suffocate. Anger starts to seep as my killing intent reaches its boiling point. Shadow bind. I bound his arms and legs with my shadows, as I start slamming him into the ground and walls of this dark alley. Cracks in the ground and in the walls ripple outwards, with blood filling them with each slam. You call this a love spat? I continue to smash him against the wall and ground. With each slam, his teeth get ripped out as I look at him with a broken smile as he laid there unconscious. Boss, how dare you? Wow, Dakin is really strong. As expected of Stain's apprentice. They look in awe as the other thugs start to charge at me. Boom slash Dabi blows the massive thug away with a blue flame, burning him to a crisp. Whilst Toga trips, the crazy thug, charging at her and looks at him with a sadistic look before stabbing down on his throat. Blood spurts like a fountain. As she grins, putting some of the blood into a vial, she really did want my blood. Almost in sync, Dabi and Toga takes down a thug without any effort. They're both really strong. Dabi's quirk is really unique. It reminds me of Todoroki's flame. I wonder what would happen if the two of them fought each other. Toga's abilities are quite good as well. She's well trained with a knife. She doesn't have to use her quirk to win. What is her quirk anyway? With one person left, I see him almost fall asleep. I slap his cheek as he begins to wake up. Oi, dude, where's the map? Oh here, just take it. You don't really seem bothered that we just destroyed your friends. Yeah, I didn't really like them. My parents forced me to go out and make friends, so here I am. Dude, you're like 23. Are you in need or something? Yeah. Okay, I guess. Hey Dabi, Toga. I got the map, let's head out already. As soon as I say that, the lazy prick goes back to sleep as if nothing happened. Ugh, it was over that quickly. I wanted to play more. Don't bother, weaklings are common. Maybe we can find some heroes next time. Oh. Deku. Can you take us hero hunting? That'd be cool. Maybe another day. Let's just hurry up to the sports festival, okay? Amongst the small buildings ahead of me, I notice a large stadium building, with monitors covered around it for all eyes to see. Ah, I see it. Finally, can I have the seat next to Deku? Around the stadium there's stalls and heroes positioned everywhere. I put on my wig, face mask and contacts. Toga finally uses her quirk, surprising me by changing into another person, and Dabi, well, he just puts a face mask on as well. We are the most suspicious looking group of individuals possible. We grab some grub from the nearby stalls and head to the main stadium. Do you have tickets? Yes, here you are. Thank you very much, enjoy the show. Was it really that easy? What was the point of these badass, elaborate disguises? I look at both Toga and Dabi, who have a depressed look on their faces, coming to the same conclusion I did. I get some popcorn, and we head up to our seating area. Our seating is on the second row, overlooking the entirety of the stadium, almost as if these were VIP seats. The people behind us are already chanting loud, even though the events haven't even begun yet. I bring out my notebook. Both Dabi and Toga notice this and start questioning me about it. Ugh, it's to track their abilities. It will be useful if we ever encounter Yui again. My Deku is so smart. I use my quirk to cover her mouth. She is really getting annoying. She notices she can't speak, so she just stares at me. She pouts, as you can clearly tell she wants to talk. You can do that. Yeah, I used to just cover their mouth entirely. However, not being able to breathe was frustrating, so I targeted her vocal cords. If the vocal cords didn't vibrate the air, there wouldn't be any sound. I practiced it on myself. It partially blocks some air, but you are still able to breathe. Can you stay with me 24/7? She's really annoying. Crocodile tears start to form at the edge of Toga's eyes, as she just sits there with her arms crossed, as we continue to talk shit in front of her, right to her face. I would feel bad, but she needs to learn when they shut up. A few minutes pass. As the event's about to start, Toga starts to kick me, trying to tell me to let her speak. Will you be quiet? She thinks for a second, and she starts nodding her head, sadly. Good. I undo my quirk to let her speak. She looks at me and says, your quirk is actually really cool. I wish I had a quirk like that. You will probably find out sooner or later. If you aren't with the league, I'd kill you on this spot. I used to be quirkless. Well, I at him. Both Dabi and Toga look at me extremely oddly, as if I'm talking nonsense. Through my school years, I was practically tortured. Every day, they would find new ways to hurt and destroy me, even to the point of finding where I live and graffiting everywhere. I couldn't do anything. Even then, I wanted to become a hero. I met All Might and everything changed. He destroyed the shattered pieces left on the ground, and gradually I became a villain. Stain's apprentice, to be exact. How did you get a quirk then? I was given it. I can't say how or anything further, as I believe I am restricted from doing so. However, I am extremely grateful for it. Ah. I finally remembered you. Izuku Midoriya. You were plastered everywhere as missing. Someone went to extreme lengths to search for you. Dabi states. Izuku. I thought you were Deku. This is too confusing. Too much information. PFFT, my real name is Izuku Midoriya. I prefer to go by Deku now. Izuku. That's actually a decent one, haha. She giggles along with me as Dabi looks as if he wants to vomit. Getting all of that off my chest, actually telling someone. It feels refreshing, as if a huge weight got lifted. Thank you for the wait everyone, the festival will now begin. Yeah. I'm your host present, Nick. Along with the Izuku. We will begin with our first event. An obstacle race, 4 kilometers around the stadium. I watched with anticipation. The race began, everyone started sprinting. Lita quickly took the lead, and as fast as he took it, he was replaced by Todoroki in first place. I took constant notes of their quirks and abilities, even the students in Class 1B. Everybody had an interesting quirk. Katsuki-kan and Todoroki were neck and neck. Once they got to the minefield, they exploded ahead of everyone else, leaving them in the dust. Todoroki skated over all the ice, however Katsuki fell behind. He couldn't take it, so he gripped his hand into a circle and targeted all his explosions into one place. I haven't seen him use this before. He concentrated it all into one spot so that he would get a much bigger boost in momentum, zooming ahead of Todoroki. He closed into the finish and first place, Bakugo Katsuki. He's gotten much stronger. I took some notes on his style of movement and his new ability. I guess he made it so that he wouldn't become a burden again like at USJ. Todoroki finished second, Lita finished third, and the others don't really matter. Izuku-kun. You've been staring at that Bakugo guy for a while. Is he your secret lover? I refuse to share you with him. I will zip your mouth shut. This prompted Toga to cover her mouth with both hands. He is the one who gave me the hardest time during school. So has the one who made you have a stone-cold heart, how could he? She started glaring at Katsuki, as if he's the reason that I haven't been giving her any attention. She suddenly gasps as if having an epiphany. So if I take his blood, will you finally fall in love with me and zip? I stopped Toga from speaking again for a while, as everyone around us started staring at me. Ugh. Right when I was thinking she was an okay person, alright, folks. The last map was absolutely amazing. But this time we have something that will make you fall off your horses. The event is known as Cavalry Battles. The points you have will be represented by your position in the last game. For example, if you were in first you get 10 million point, so on and so forth. He is really lazy at explaining things. Toga starts to mime at me. I just ignore her. It seems Katsuki will be first in this battle. I look down at the stage and everyone is avoiding Katsuki. Is it because he's a dick or because he's first place? It seems like your BFF isn't in any team. PFFT, he doesn't disappoint. He's not only an ass to me, but to all his classmates. To the point of them avoiding him. Hahaha style. Toga glares at me closely. The event is about to begin. Katsuki got the leftovers, huh? I look down at him as I see him going with a blonde snob, who is in 1B and Hatsune who's in the support hero course. I can feel his anger from here. I knew I made the right choice to come here. Just as the event begins, Katsuki starts to jump off of his horse. Is it even legal? He snatches a headband and blows himself back on the horse. Todoroki laid ice on the field, trapping most of the horses from moving, as his team just walks by casually taking each headband. Lita jumped when Todoroki used his ice, avoiding it and sending his team into the air. Uraraka let them float for a minute before getting in position. They start to land, falling on Todoroki's team. Kaminari shocks Todoroki as they crash into each other. He took his headband in the process. Tokoyami is moving strangely as Dark Shadow starts to freak out, pointing towards the audience. Is it looking for me? How? As their balance shifts because of Dark Shadow, their horse falls apart and they get out of the game. A final dash between Katsuki and Todoroki happens as they both lunge for each other's headbands. That blonde guy, he used Katsuki's quirk. I need to write this down. As he used Katsuki's quirk, he sends Katsuki flying, with much more firepower than Katsuki could on his own, as he becomes a blur, going past Todoroki. Todoroki puts up a massive wall of ice, blocking Katsuki from getting past as he evaluated his pattern of attack by leaping off his horse. Smash. Katsuki plants head first into the ice as the round ends. You bastard. First place Todoroki. Second, Bakugo. Third, Kaminari. The placements for the last event has been set. One-on-one battles. I start getting punched from the side softly as Toga has had enough of being silent. I leave my quirk on until the finals begin. Kaminari vs Satoshi. Kaminari starts to pace up and down, getting himself hyped for this match. He shouts to his opponent, "You ready to lose, huh? Lose who? Coward like you, I bet you won't even get close to me." You what? Suddenly, Kaminari freezes in place. He turns completely stiff as he starts walking to the edge of the ring like a robot. It turns from meters to feet until Hitachi weans. What just happened? What did you do? Nothing much. Mind control. That's a fascinating quirk. Todoroki vs Lita. Todoroki stands opposite to Lita. Let's have a good match. The sound of ice freezing over everything starts to echo throughout the arena, making a spear of ice completely surrounding Lita. Sorry, I guess I'm a little ticked off. Todoroki weans. Why didn't he do that against me back in USJ? Maybe he couldn't, as it would have made collateral damage to his classmates. Next up is Katsuki vs Achako. If I still owned a phone, I'd probably get asked how to beat Katsuki. When I decided to go missing, I got rid of my phone and got a new one from the league. Achako vs Katsuki. She looks extremely nervous. Boom! Katsuki rockets himself forward. Achako has no idea what to do. He grabs her arm as he uses his quirk to make a hard turn, throwing her outside the ring. I even have a chance. I'm sorry. Boos start coming out from the arena as Katsuki starts to get screamed at. Shut up, you bastards. Bakugo Weins. Hitachi versus Todoroki. Todoroki keeps his mouth quiet as he slowly steps forth. Hitachi tries to aggravate him, talking about endeavor and trying to piss him off. Well, it worked. Todoroki turned the entire arena into a block of ice. Hitachi slips as Todoroki kicks him outside the ring. Todoroki Weins. Next time, keep your mouth shut, or I will turn you into ice and shatter you. The finals begin. First it's Todoroki. vs Bakugo, 2 powerhouses. How will this fight go down? You better not hold back, you bastard. Todoroki starts the first move, using the entire arena as a slide, skating on his ice. Katsuki flies towards him and uses his AP shot, which he developed after Yosuke. He blows the entirety of the ice to shards. Todoroki looks in surprise as he starts sending spikes of ice towards Katsuki. One by one, Katsuki blows them to hell. Without Katsuki realizing, the spikes were just a distraction as he traps his legs in ice. He makes a ramp and flies off towards Katsuki until bam, he smashes into Katsuki, almost knocking him out with ice slamming against his head. Katsuki barely gets back up as he blows Todoroki to hell. Boom, he sends Todoroki flying outside the arena. He hadn't hit the ground though, so Todoroki built from the arena, using an ice slide to get back in without being out of bounds. Todoroki's body starts to be enveloped in frost as he charges towards Katsuki one more time. In a final clash, both Katsuki and Todoroki uses the full extent of their abilities, creating a massive mist of water vapor. As the mist clears, Todoroki can be seen out of bounds, and Katsuki can be seen on the edge of the arena, winning by luck. The winner is Bakugo. Screams cheer out of the arena. I think it's time to leave, there are no more activities. I stand up, to the surprise of Toga and Dabi, and start to leave. I don't want to be here any more than I have to be. They were good matches. I got a lot of information on their quirks, there's no reason to stay anymore. Ending our date so early, how about we go get something to eat? I can't be bothered, Dabi replies. I wasn't asking you. I do feel a bit famished, I haven't eaten in a while. Sure. Yay. Let's get some meat. As we sit in a local restaurant near the sports festival, Dabi, Toga and I sit across from each other, cooking a barbecue. Suo, what do you want to do now, Deku-kun? What did I want to do? I want heroes to suffer. The same way I did. I currently don't have the capabilities to develop anything to stop the heroes. If I can grow my Kamino cooperation and use the excess money to fund the league, I can start to develop new technology, out of the eyes of the public, to destroy All Might and the other heroes. As I think about what I want to say in response, contemplating whether I should keep quiet, I say honestly, I want to build an empire. Huh? An empire? Like a business. Wouldn't that be too obvious for your identity? Toga says as I see the both surprised and intrigued look on her face. It's fine. I currently have everything prepared, I just need to expand on the technology. I've seen some of the stuff they put out, and it's pretty disappointing. There's a lot of untapped potential. Can you make me your secretary? If it's an excuse to spend more time with me, you should rethink that idea. I say as I tease Toga a little bit, lifting her chin up. Toga immediately backs off. It seems she can't handle when things get serious. I chuckle to myself as I grab a bottle of water from the void space. Dabi is sitting in the corner of the booth, as both Toga and I continue to talk, forgetting about his existence. As time passes, we finally get onto an interesting conversation. So what even is your quirk? I drink blood and transform into people, she says as she furiously slurps her milkshake. That's really awesome. What happens if you drink someone's blood with a mutant quirk, like Hawks? Would you grow wings? What happens if you drink an Omu's blood? Would you be an Omu? Can you use the person's quirk you transform into? What happens to your clothes when you transform? If you can use someone's quirk like Dabi's, would you be able to hurt him with his own fire? Why are you both looking at me like that? I say because Dabi stares at me in disbelief, whilst Toga stares at me with a mixture of shock and other emotions. Interested in seeing what under my clothes already. Izuku. What? I can't believe I like you, you are super weird, Toga says with a massive grin on her face. After realizing my mistake, my face flushes a bright red as Dabi looks at me like I'm an idiot. Anyway, you guys wanted to know more about Stain, right? That's the only reason you joined this broken league. They both brighten up, their attention fixed on me. I guess they really do like the hero killer. As I talk about the hero killer, my mood brightens up as I talk about him more and more. Time passes as we start to head back to the league. As I enter the broken down bar, I notice more figures than usual in the shadows. There were 7 more people, suddenly out of nowhere. Where did they recruit everyone? A few of them wore hoods. These are the other recruits that could not make it. Together you will form a Vanguard action squad. This is an opportunity to expand ourselves as the League. Meet Mr. Compress twice, Spinner Magni Mustard Moonfish, and Muscular. I have already informed them who you three are. Muscular, are these brats really that impressive? Spinner Stain's apprentice. It's an honor. Muscular, all I see are a few kids, barely out of their diapers. Deku, I guess you're all brawn and no brain at all. Muscular, what the fuck did you just say to me, brat? Twice, hey, let's calm down a bit here Kurajiri, he's right. We should not be fighting right now. Muscular, fuck off. I will do what I want, you can't tell me to do shit. Deku, well I believe it's time, we put on a show, right? You baboon. He suddenly charges forward, activating his quirk as he punches towards me. I restrain him with my shadow bind. Little shadow hands form from his own shadow, as it traps his arm. I use the sheer force of his punch against him as I push in his elbow and twist his arm. A loud crunch could be heard. I continue by forming shadows under his muscles to stop them growing and proceed to pull his arm out of the socket. He grunts in pain as he looks at me with only sheer anger and hatred. Now if you really want to fight. Muscular, we can take this outside and I can dissect you. You brainless gorilla. As I finish my sentence, I wrap his arm completely. Only darkness could be seen as I twisted his arm backwards, throwing him towards us, right outside the door. As he stands back up from his knees, his arm dislocated and broken at his elbow, I step forth with a wicked grin on my face. This was fun. Making someone who takes pride in their strength bow down to me on their knees without any effort, this was really a thrill. I start to laugh, without realizing the sheer surprise on everyone focuses on me as they continue to watch my stride towards villainy. Third-person POV. Muscular stood up and stared Deku down. Deku looked back with a crazed look in his eyes as they stand opposite to each other. Muscular uses force to put his shoulder back into place. He then wraps more muscles around his elbow to support himself. His look on his face was evident. Both of them had a wicked smile as they stared at each other. Muscular was the first to break the silence as his flesh started to wrap around his legs before he quickly disappears, reappearing right before Deku with a punch ready. Just like before, Deku wrapped his shadow quick around his arm with shadow bind. Muscular smirks as he wrapped more flesh around the shadow itself, increasing his power and making Deku's shadows waver. He managed to dispel the shadows long enough to create a punch. His punch came forth as Deku barely managed to dodge it. Shockwaves rippled throughout the area, as gusts of winds were powerful enough to cut Deku's flesh. Deku gets back up and responds by making his shadows slowly emerge under Muscular's muscle fibers and skin. There were extremely small spaces in which he didn't cover his quirk. Deku dodged and backed off until enough of his shadows formed enough to. Muscular screamed in pain. Even when he had his arm broken and shoulder dislocated, he didn't scream. His entire body started to rupture as shadow spikes formed all around his body, digging into his flesh like barbed wire. Each of the shadows under his muscles formed and tore further into his body, down to his bone and on the outside of his skin. Blood spurted as he gave Deku a look of anger, with a stare that could kill. Deku looked back with a smile as he looks at the kneeling Muscular with pure satisfaction and a cocky expression. Muscular, with his entire body trembling, stumbled back to his feet. His look of anger turned to a look of pure insanity, as his body grew further and further, until he became a blob of muscle and flesh. Not knowing what Muscular was doing, Deku backed off, observing the blob of muscle. He didn't realize that it wasn't Muscular anymore. In the corner of his eyes, he managed to spot Muscular, with a bloody face and bearing a victorious smile. The blob of flesh was just a decoy, as Muscular got behind him without him realizing. Crack before Deku could get into his void space, the side of his body took the full brunt of Muscular's attack, as the rest of the league looked in shock. Deku's arm was bent backwards as his arm was completely disfigured. Deku looked at his arm calmly and sighed before raising his other arm at Muscular. With his palm wide, he crushes it into a fist as a jolt of pain can be seen from Muscular. A Miwamu Shindera star similar to the shadows that he planted to destroy Muscular earlier. During the entirety of the fight, his focus has been on his shadows. At this point, Deku had complete control over Muscular's body. He considered this a new version of his puppet strings. He practiced it in theory, but he didn't know if it would work. The inside of everyone's body is filled with darkness and shadows. He built up the shadows more and more, and after taking Muscular's blow, he decided he wouldn't hold back. He used those shadows and wrapped it around each part of his body, his lungs, his muscles, his bones. Any place where he could, he took control of. Deku still has morals. He won't kill, however. Killing isn't the worst type of pain you can inflict. Making each of his individual organs be squeezed, his bones ripped apart and his body making it crumble, all whilst keeping him alive to feel it. Muscular screamed in pain, louder than anybody expected, almost rupturing eardrums with his roar. His body started to look deformed as Deku twisted his arms and legs, making them crack further. "You were finished the moment you picked a fight with me," Deku says, laughing before pulling on his broken arm, straightening it and forming a shadow-like sling around his arm to support his broken bones. Muscular couldn't stop screaming. Everyone looked at him with pity in their eyes, as they didn't even try to stop Deku's rage. Muscular finally fell unconscious as all of his bones were twisted in opposite directions, his flesh and skin scattered around him and a tortured look left on his face. Silence continued as no one dared to say a word, leaving Deku to walk back to his dorm with no interest. Muscular was taken to the torture specialist, as at this point only she could heal his wounds. She was shocked. His entire body was made into practically mincemeat. She smiled and called the person that did this a true torture connoisseur, as she laughed at the deformed villain. "What the hell did I just do?" Deku thought to himself as the side effects of his quirk and the adrenaline he was spiked with after fighting Muscular. As he calmed down, everything started to set in. Although he had fought against heroes, as of this moment, his was under the assumption that he took his life. Pictures flash through his mind as he remembers Muscular, twisted and distorted body. He sat in his dorm. It was as if the world went gray. He looked in a mirror. Flashes of himself, almost like hallucinations, appeared. As he stared at the mirror, his reflection looked back and smirked. Star, he punched the mirror in anger. He looked at the cracked and fragmented reflection of himself, as he screams to the top of his lungs, "This isn't what I wanted." He thought about how he would never have practiced that technique. He used it for the first time, as his mind went into a crazed state. Why did he kill him? He grabbed his broken arm that hung in the sling he made. He had reset all the fragmented bone pieces as he could feel the scattered bone fragments with his shadows. As he put all the pieces back into place, he created a sling to support his arm, without the use of his quirk. Even though he couldn't feel the pain anymore, all his previous memories and his previous pains began to resurface. That fleeting dream of wanting to become a hero almost vanished into air. His memories regarding Stain, he didn't kill those heroes although he watched them die. Deku slumped down on his bed. He touched his cheeks and realized they were wet as without realizing it, tears dripped and fell. He slowly picked the fragments of glass out of his hand, as realized he didn't know what to do with himself anymore. Although Muscular lives, Deku didn't know. He sat in silence for hours as he continued to further recall his memories. The next morning, Deku slowly made his way down the stairs. Soon he would become the main shareholder of the company. He could control everything from the shadows. He had researched his competitors in his free time. He could take control of the entire industry if he worked for it. From what he saw from the current financial records when he went into the CEO's office, there were a lot of competitors trying to obtain the Camino Corporation. Deku POV, most of them were large companies, on equal standing or higher than Camino. It was a serious situation. Luckily I took the shares and from the previous owner, so that he couldn't transfer the company with his name without legal issues. Kingsley, Detmerid, Hugo, Takagashi. To name a few, these are a few companies that are wanting to buy us out soon. Soon, I will crush the competition. I stepped downstairs into the main bar. I was greeted with silence. The one who broke the silence was Toga Deku-kun. "Are you okay? How's your arm?" "I'm fine. For a while now, I've been doing everything half-heartedly. I look for other solutions rather than committing myself. I held myself back. That was my mistake. I shouldn't hold back, or myself and others will be hurt because of me." Everyone in the room all had one thought in their minds. That was holding back. Muscular is out of commission now. We were planning to storm UA on their outing, however. We may need to look for more allies to compensate for our loss, Shigaraki explained with a hint of anger towards me. I stared back at him and said with anger in my voice, "Are you saying it's my fault?" I focused my gaze. It turned sharp as my intent seeped out. My calm words, mixed with a hint of anger, echoed throughout the room. The pressure I was giving off was made clear. Everyone looked at me with almost a shocked expression as I can see the fear in their eyes. The one Skiki, Dorka, was a fan of heroes. Almost no impressions of that young ignorant boy were left behind, as now there is only darkness in my eyes. "No," he calmly responds. I smile as I finally feel like myself. My true self. I don't need to hide anymore. It's all according to Kakaku. I begin to leave as I have a plan today. I pull my disguise out of my void space and quickly put it on. I start to leave as the others continue to talk amongst themselves. "Deku-kun," Toga said as I begin to walk past her. "I'm just going out for business purposes. Don't trouble yourself," I say naturally as I pat Toga on the head to reassure her. Even if she is really annoying most of the time, I can feel her genuine concern. It's a new experience for me. Only one person before was actually concerned for myself. I wonder how she's doing. Ugh, I need to stop thinking about her. I sigh to myself as I leave. I can't go back. I can only move forwards. I stand outside the building of Camino, where I was once an intern. I walk inside with no trouble this time, and I see the same receptionist. She looks more worn out than before. Name: Akira Haruto. She must have thought, this kid is the new owner. Our company is going downhill. Are you mute? Whatever. I don't have time for incompetent personal. Yes. I mean, I'll escort you to your office. No need. I just wanted to see the incompetency of the staff here. Either get your act together or get the hell out. I'll be informing your manager that the staff here need further training. Yes, sir. I currently control 70% of the shares. I need domination over this entire company. The question is how to get the remaining shares. I could do it the way I did before, but I don't think it'd work this time around. 5% of the shares are unaccounted for, and the other 25% are split between 5 people. I walk to the elevator as it's crammed with people. I have a look of annoyance on my face as someone greets me from behind. Sir. I am your secretary, Hinasor. Pleased to meet you. Akira Haruto. I hope you aren't as incompetent as the reception. I hope you are better than our previous COO. You really can speak your mind, can't you? I say in response with a wry smile. HMPH. Please follow me. Executives use a private elevator. Lead the way. We start to move in the opposite direction. The receptionist runs to the back room as soon as she sees me approaching again. We head into the elevator as I start asking questions. I heard there was an incident involving slander. What's the current state of the company with regard to our reputation? Most information was sealed off, however there were a few unnamed sources that published the information. What is the impact on sale figures? Down by 15%, you really can do your job, huh? Maybe you aren't as useless as I thought. I'm sorry, but I'm not interested. Whatever. Get me a report detailing in the sale figures from the sales team. With regard to our reputation, pin it on the previous CEO. Release a statement for our social media account and the media outlets. Apologize for the situation to boost our public standing. Get me all the information on files on all the staff and interns in the design department. She smiles as I make this statement. There will be interns from the hero courses. Would you like to make a posting? The current design manager is incompetent. Put the files on my desk of all potential candidates. As the elevator for the top floor finally opens, she states right away. I head into my office, with a smile on my face. It's mine, all mine. Now for the unnamed sources that published that meeting. I thought everything would go as planned. I need to deal with them. The files I need are all organized on this laptop. The fact they would keep company files out in the open is stupid. I get a list of all company personnel and research each and every department, getting them clear in my mind in what each one does. There are 2 departments named as security. One has a lot less staff. I contact the manager immediately, and I was informed that they are a department composed of individuals with the ability to hack. Simply putting it, it's an illegal hacking department. I request for them to find out who the individuals who published the information that ruined our reputation. I will deal with them personally. Now for the moment I have been waiting for this entire time. I call the secretary to ask her to call the manager of the design department into my office. That same manager who fired me, the same manager who knew I was innocent but worked to take credit for my designs. Hello, boss. She says as she stylishly walks into my office. She takes off her glasses as she gives me a seductive stare. What the fuck? You think I called you into my office for that? You're fucking sick. I called you because of your trash performance in your department. What the hell are you doing? It was an intern who caused those issues. An intern? You let a goddamn intern do all the designs that your staff are supposed to be doing? Why in the hell are you even a manager if this is the shit you give me? I remember what she said to me last time with a wicked smile on my face. I clearly state, we don't allow mistakes like this in our company. Usually I would give a second chance, but you are clearly not fit for the standards of our company. As the secretary walks in with no shits given and plants the names of the personnel from the design on my desk, I say to the women who gave me so much trouble last time, you're fired. Get the fuck out of my company. I don't care what you have to say. Ms. Sora, please call security and get this stain out of here. Tell them there's no need to be courteous, just throw her out like the filth she is. Tears start to stream down her face as seconds pass. 3 men enter my office as they drag her out. I start to look at the potential manager candidates as I see an interesting person. Secretary Sora. I have some business in the design department. Please proceed with what I had said earlier. Yes, sir. As I move to the elevator, I continue to read his file. Ho. This person is interesting. Under his experience, he had stated he worked on the UA hero costumes. I mumble to myself as I notice something odd. Wait a minute, haha. What the hell is this coincidence? Katsuki, this guy designed Katsuki's costume. He leaves 2 dots on their uniform to show that they are his designs. How interesting. If I can control him, thoughts start to rush through my mind about different things I can do and accomplish. I can make Katsuki's life a living hell. There's so much. I can make his costume implode on himself. What an explosion that would be, or I can make his costume tear and reputation in public. That'd be a laugh. As I walk through the design department, who was given previous notice of my appearance, everyone paid their respects to me. The interns who previously messed up my designs were at the back of the room and didn't come to greet me. Are they just as stupid? I walk over to them as they see me overshadowing them. You too? Yes, sir. What can we do for you? I smile as I watch the nervous looks on their faces. Is this really how the design department operates? As I look at the designs, they were definitely familiar. How tragic. Are you really this incompetent? What are these designs? I take the page full of different shitty designs as I call everyone in the design room into the meeting room. I put the pieces of designs under a projector, which shows their designs to everyone on a large screen. These are the designs you are responsible for. Everyone stays silent as they watch me flick through the designs. One of the designs I noted would even harm the person who would wear them, as it would cause a chain reaction, imploding itself. Do you want to kill our customers? Everyone in the design department watches in horror, as most of them had no idea that they had interns like this. Well, I spoke up, targeting everyone in the office. No, sir. They responded as if it was the military. Well, I don't think we can keep these interns. What do you guys think? They start to murmur and chatter among themselves, speaking about why the manager even hired these interns in the first place. They don't deserve to be in our department. One of the staff shouted out among the crowd. Yeah. Many start to agree. I chuckle to myself as I had an amusing idea. What are you guys saying? You are all too cruel. I want to fire them out of the company. They don't deserve that. Instead, I'll give them an opportunity. What? Many of the staff shouted in shock as they believed I was going to reward them. Of course. They will immediately move out of the design department to the janitorial department. Of course, only as interns. PFFT. Many of them start to laugh as they realize my real intentions. The interns frantically look at each other. I don't accept this. One of the interns speak up, trying to dispute my arguments. Unfortunately, you signed a contract to work with our company. As I put their contracts under the projector, I make it obvious that there is nowhere stating that they are limited to the design department. I knew this because it's similar to my old contract. It was invalidated as soon as I was fired. I remembered it off by heart as I recited it many times through the copy I had. They both look in shock at the loophole I found. I pick up one of the half-drunken cups of lukewarm coffee and slowly pour it over their heads. Get to work. Clean up this mess. Consider this an honor that you are still working for our prestigious company. They begin to cry as they are treated as literal filth. At that moment, many of the staff realize what kind of boss I am. Your job's well, and you will be rewarded, however, if you work here and don't strive to do your best. Either clean up your desk and get the hell out of here, or get sent to the janitor department. We are always lacking staff. Mr. Oda, can I speak to you privately for a moment? I leave the room as everyone is silent. Oda follows me as we start to speak. I have recently relieved the current manager of her position. From today onwards you will be the manager of this department. Thank you, sir. I won't disappoint you. I will send you a formal contract. I have a condition after all. Of course. Any of your current and future designs, please send them to this email. They will be processed through another source. This is all confidential. I trust you will keep it a secret. I hand him the piece of paper I had prepared beforehand in the elevator. Did I do anything wrong? PFFT, no. Your designs are what our company expects. They are top quality. However, the person receiving the designs wants additions through a partner company. I hope you won't question any more than this. Yes, sir, I'll get to work straight away. Good. I expect you won't let me down. I state with a wry smile on my face. If I want to grow this company, I can't just sit around expecting everything to happen for me. The most efficient way is to either cooperate with others, which is something I don't want to do. And the other way is to destroy other companies and buy them out, using their resources to grow my own. That sounds like something I would do. I call up the hackers listed on my notes again. I asked them to get me information about the companies I had listed earlier. This can benefit me as I can find out the standings and target the weakest ones first. Once they finish that, I start to finish up my documents the previous CEO left behind. They are projects pitched by a range of the advertisement staff to save the company's reputation that has been shit in the last few days. I sign off on a few of them, as they are actually decent ideas. Suddenly, the manager who fired me walked into my office once again. Why the fuck are you still here? Wait, how the fuck are you here? Where's my security? Incompetent assholes. Oh, you're really cute. You should calm down, big boss. Shut your mouth. Felt like you make me sick. You know that hurts. Stop acting like a child. We bicker for a minute as I get increasingly annoyed. Why the fuck is she so different, but still so familiar? Get out before I throw you out. This time it won't be out the door. I say as I point to the window. PFFT, you wouldn't hurt me, she says as if she genuinely believes that. Ugh, as much as I hate it, if I use my quirk to throw her out my window, a dead body in front of the company will make our reputation even worse. I press the intercom button on my desk. Secretary Sora, can you get this nuisance out of my office? Why the hell did you even let her in? Sora. Oh, for fuck's sake, I stand up and drag the bitch out of my office whilst checking on the secretary. As I leave the office I find out she's completely unconscious with her desk in ruin. What the fuck did you do? I say as she gives me a confused look in response. It suddenly clicks in my head. Ugh, I don't have time for your games. I grit my teeth as I realize why she was acting so differently. I was bored, and you said you'd make me your secretary. You suggested it, I declined. You don't have to be so mean, Deku-kun, she said as she sniffled slightly. Toga, how did you even get in here? I say as I rub my eyes in annoyance. It was no biggie, I came to spend time with you, but they wouldn't let me in. Suddenly they threw a woman outside the building who was cursing the boss, and I had a great idea. I guessed that part, but why did they still let you in? Well, they didn't. I had to knock your security out. As she said that, she suddenly started to morph back into her original appearance. Her suit started to fade as well. Wait, what? Wait. I realized what was about to happen as I asked about her quirk before. She can mimic the appearance of others' clothing, but she has to be naked to do so. I turn around fast, not fast enough as I still had a good look of her body. Ugh, I said, wait, god damn it. But did you really have to knock out the secretary as well? Well, I was going to kill her. She dared to seduce you, but I thought you'd hate a messy office. She states calmly as she has a huge smile on her face, with a light blush of excitement. Firstly, I don't know why you think she seduced me. Secondly, did it occur to you that we had more than a few staff as a security system? And that the police might be involved? What if I had killed you when you entered my office? I say as I start taking off my jacket to hand it to Toga with my eyes covered. She seriously started to think after listening to my response, but didn't say anything else. Instead, she just gives me a wide grin as if she did something good. Ugh, I really can't win against you. Baka. I say as I karate chop her head lightly. This time, her naked appearance is covered only by my suit jacket. I blush brightly as I turn away quickly. Ow, I'll finish my work soon. Help me wake her up first. I say with my head turned away. Okay, Secretary POV, the new CEO seems really young. Why does someone like him even want to become a CEO? From first impressions I had, he does seem somewhat capable, but I really hope he doesn't make my job harder. But he was really cruel to that woman. I heard that she was the reason because of the bad press of our company. Why wasn't she fired to begin with? Did she sleep with the previous owner? Unlike before with the other owner, I haven't had much to do today. He seems to be taking a lot of my tasks himself, like he can't trust anyone else to do it for him. I look down at the documents that need his signature. Knock, knock, come in. I need these documents signed. They relate to the current projects introduced at the last board meeting to improve our public standing. Thank you. Leave it on my desk, I'll get to it in a moment. I look at what he's working on. Like I thought. He's overworking himself on documents that don't need his attention. He really can't trust anyone. I subconsciously stand there, staring at him, whilst my thoughts drift about why he's doing everything by himself. He looks up and notices me as he states, "You can leave." Oh yes, of course. That was embarrassing. I sit back down at my desk, doing other tasks whilst I wait for the documents. Ding ding ding. Ugh, it's so loud, they need to fix it already. My ears is someone using the elevator. I haven't heard anything from reception. Is it one of the board members? As I look at the elevator, that manager who was thrown out returns again. Oh hey. I'm looking for the CEO. Could I speak to him for a moment? Sure, one moment. I call the security department. I receive no answers. Did she bribe them? I put down the phone as I stand up. Excuse me, the CEO is unavailable. I think it would be best if you leave. I just need to go to his office, right? Please, ma'am. Leave before I call the police. Go ahead. She says with a joyful smile. Fine. Suit yourself. I walk back over to my phone to call the police. As I grab the phone, that woman gets me into a chokehold as I knock over most of the documents on my desk. I struggle to breathe as I look into the corridor mirror. My face turns purple as I see her with a wicked smile. Everything starts to go dark, my vision is blurry, I splash shrug, my vision starts to brighten, I feel cold. Why am I wet? Why was I unconscious? Oh, right, that woman came back. Wait, where is she? I look up and notice the CEO standing next to me. There was also another woman, who was nearly completely naked. Why am I bleeding? My hand stings. The naked woman quickly looks away as I said that. What happened when I was unconscious? Wait, that doesn't matter right now. The manager came back, we need to call the police. No need, I dealt with her already. The CEO states nervously. Wait, why is there a naked woman here? I suddenly get overwhelmed with all the information. He keeps staring at my clothes. I look down and find out my clothes are completely soaked and see-through. I quickly cover up my chest with my hands. Blood from my hand quickly gets rubbed on my white shirt. I grit my teeth in anger, I want to slap him right now. I told you. She was seducing you. That woman states. They seem to have a good relationship. Is she his girlfriend, maybe his wife? She has her hands in the suit pockets. I can't see the ring clearly. Either way, he's a playboy, disgusting. You should take care of your husband more. If he continues to make my work difficult, I might just leave. Husband, she screams out loud as she has a really happy look. She quickly grabs his arms tightly. He turns bright red, covering his face with his other hand. We aren't married, he says quickly to try and clear up the misunderstanding. Disgusting playboy, I respond almost instinctively. Oh come on, hubby, let's go already. She says as she begins to drag him to the elevator. He has a grim expression as I can hear him whispering to me, please help me. His cries echo in my ears as he continues to get dragged off. I suddenly feel really bad for him. I guess he's still a child. Wait, isn't she still naked? Help me, I looked at the secretary as she watched me get dragged away with a smirk on her face. Do you plan on streaking in my company? Can you use your quirk already? But hugging you like this is so fun, your reactions are so cute. Get off me before I knock you out, throw you in a shipping container and send you to Madagascar. She lets go as soon as I state that, pouting to herself as she moves to the corner of the elevator. She slowly transforms into the secretary from the blood she had taken beforehand. I get a ping on my phone. I set up my contact info in the company beforehand, as I knew I wouldn't be in the company all the time. You finally got a new phone. You should add me. I tried to ignore her, but she snatched my phone out of my hands without me realizing. I tried to take it back, but she had walled herself off in the corner. She passes back my phone soon after, as I see her new contact. She put her profile in, and her profile picture was her dabbing with Dobby. I felt a tinge of anger seeing it, but it was mainly mixed in with a lot of disappointment in the both of them. I continued to stare at her with dead eyes, as my opinion of her went from 0 to -100. We left the building as we walked around for a while. We visited several stores. The money I'm making from the company is ridiculous. If I wanted to, I could buy the entire mall. We buy some stuff. Toga seems ecstatic for some reason. We're just walking around. She really is odd. As hours pass, we grab some dinner, and we decided to head back. She continues to bombard me with a range of different questions, asking why I became a villain. I explained a few things that happened, but keeping most of the details from her. I really don't like to talk about my old life, it's depressing. My phone suddenly pinged as I got a text message, detailing the standing of different organizations. They really worked fast. Takagashi had a difficult backing, Kingly was a small business, Hugo was a large enterprise, and Detnerd had an extremely difficult decryption. It would take a few days to get into their systems. Takagashi was the most intriguing one currently, though, as I could only think of a handful of organizations to back them. Normal organizations would have been named, but this organization had no information whatsoever. I start to think about a range of different possibilities, dismissing a lot of them as I finally get to a single thought. The Yakuza, it was just a guess, but based on probability, they might be involved. If they were involved, it would make my plans much harder. I should start on Kingly. They are the only ones that seem to be manageable currently. I arrive back at the bar and I take a seat. Time passes as I get distracted reading the reports I received about the internships. Oi Brad. I suddenly hear from behind as I'm enjoying my drink. What do you want? I'm not in the mood for Shigaraki's shit right now. In a few days we are planning an attack on Hosu. We have manufactured more allies. We will move the task force to take out the heroes whilst they are taking the children out on internships. We can target them and use them against the heroes. Another shitty plan. A brat like you wouldn't understand anyway. Says the fuckface who botched the plan last time. He tries to grab me. I just sit there and continue to slurp my drink without caring. As this happens a lot now, Kurogiri, he doesn't respond, as he's getting sick of these daily arguments. He grabs Shigaraki, preventing him from moving. I walk up to the restrained Shigaraki and continue to slurp harder. Slurp, you think this is fucking funny? It's pretty funny. You slurp, can you stop slurp? I'm going to kill you, kid. I'd like to see you try, I respond with a smile. Ever since Muscular, I don't feel a sense of dread anymore. I used to think any actions I did, I'd be killed for, but now, it's like staring at an angry puppy. So Kurogiri, what's happening with Hosu? I say as I completely ignore Shigaraki. We are planning to launch a full-scale attack on locations that have a possibility of internships nearby. This is to capture UA's students in order to use them against All Might as hostages. Whilst we do this, we will also use the students against the heroes overseeing them. Using students against All Might, that's going to backfire completely. From what I saw, All Might is still extremely powerful. If we take the students, they are just going to put all priorities on us. That will lead to our downfall. It would be better if we stage mass destruction. If we attack several populated areas, we would force all the heroes to split up as we pick them off one by one. Yeah, that could work. We can use the Nomus as suicide bombers. This way we could force the heroes to focus on civilians whilst we take them out. I see. What the hell are you saying, Brad? This is my plan. We're going to do as I say. You aren't the boss here. He starts furiously scratching his neck in annoyance. I'm very sorry. I promise not to undermine you anymore. I see that you are a very fragile person. What did you say? Kurogiri, could I speak to you in private for a minute? Of course. He teleports me into my dorm room. I'll wait my milkshake, whatever. Anyway, Shigaraki will probably cry if things doesn't go his way, so keep this from him. Inform all for one of my plan and propose to do both. I can't trust Shigaraki on this. I will tell him. Can you try to be on friendlier terms with Shigaraki? Ahahaha. No. As I finish the conversation, he teleports back to the bar. I drop on my bed with my arms wide with a wide smirk on my face. This will be fun. Ugh, how long has it been now? This stupid paperwork. Every morning, afternoon and night. If I leave for a second, it piles up like a storm. If I knew running a company that's being pressured is this hard, I'd have just destroyed it in the first place. As I scan over the files, I finally got to the internships. They're taking place in a few days, and I still have a few candidates. One of them that stood out to me was Hatsume. Mainly due to her appearance at the sports festival. Other than her, 2 other students from UA's support department and some from other schools appeared here. We only have limited spaces because we are in a vulnerable position right now. I decided to hand 3 of the files to the secretary, informing them to put them into a group under the supervision of 2 experienced design staff members. I call her in and hand off the files to her, and I get back to work. Coincidentally, a few minutes later, a man walks into my office without any notice. Needless to say, this annoyed me. Have you accepted the proposal of my department? Who are you again? What? He suddenly gets angry. I'm one of the board members. If you don't remember, I'm holding a 5% share in this rundown place, and a brat like you shouldn't be in charge here. I eye him up and down, trying to think of a name for this cocky bastard. Good for you. You know the saying, an elephant never forgets. Before you annoy me anymore, get your fat ass out of my office, before I get security to drag you out. I say calmly with a poker face and a smile. Kid. Don't you forget this, even if you hold a majority of the shares, you also share the company's responsibilities. It'd be a shame if you were acquitted. My eyes sharpen as I hear his response. Are you threatening me? Oh, I wouldn't say that, except there were a lot of properties that went unaccounted for. I believe you understand what I'm saying. PFFT hahaha. I laugh maniacally, as I could see his face of confidence turn into a face of fear. Haha, you don't understand your position either, I suppose. A mere 5% shareholder dares to threaten me. I understand now what type of people used to run this company. I can hear the screams of the damned coming from him. These screams are so loud. I suppressed them whenever I was in the League of Villains, even against my fight with Muscular. Either directly or indirectly, if the souls that perished blame someone, their screams will haunt them for eternity. This was one of the first powers I had obtained, as I begin to remember being kidnapped, hearing the screams and cries of agony, as they begged me to slaughter and avenge them. I close my eyes this time. Rather than suppressing the screams, I listen to them. I cycle through each one of them, until I find one that's unique. So, you wish to threaten me? The same way you threatened your ex-wife. The person who gave their heart to you, and you crushed and used it to grow your own wealth. You sold them off for profit. The agony and betrayal they felt when they found out it was you. How do you whatever? Shut up. You know nothing. Oh, but I do see. Your ex-wife used to shield you from everything. If you hadn't pinned everything on her, maybe there would be some forgiveness left. However, you killed her, seized her properties, made her out to be the villain. I suppose you don't know where the real shareholder contract is either. So you had to make a fake. How do you know all this? You see, your wife, even after her death, never left your side. What do you mean by that? What do you mean? He grabs my tie in frustration as he demands answers. You're disgusting, aren't you? You really don't feel anything. You don't feel the shame of betraying your loved ones for mere profit. You don't know what it was like. Shut up, I guess you don't want to know where I found all this information out, correct? I smile as if I'm a predator, trapping my wounded prey in a corner waiting for one final attack. Haha, you're right. So what if I killed my wife? So what if I sold her off to traders? So what if I forged my shareholder contract? No one will ever believe you. You are just a brat playing at being an adult. As he said those words, my plan had finally succeeded. I look over to the novelty pen, sitting in my cup, flashing a red color. The wounded prey has finally become a juicy meal. Well, I believe it's time for me to leave today. I will take your words into consideration as I have some work to do elsewhere. I say as I grab the pen from the cup and swiftly place it into my pocket. Haha, like I said. You can't do anything to me, you can only run and hide like the child you are. As he said that, I smile in response as I press my intercom. Secretary Sor. Can you please call security and kick him out of the company building? Oi, what are you doing? You can't do this to me, no one will believe you. You're right. I'm the new CEO, you've had years working here. Of course, they wouldn't believe me. What do you mean by that? Oh, nothing much. The smile on my face became twisted as I pulled the pen out of my pocket and twisted the top, letting our entire conversation be repeated, along with the confession that he forged the shareholder contract. You recorded me, that's illegal. Are you serious? I stared at him with disbelief. Give me that. He lunged for me as he said that. A group of bodyguards suddenly barged into my office and dragged him out forcefully. I smile as I see this pig finally getting what he deserves. Don't worry about being kicked out. As soon as I give this to the police, you will have a nice home and a few wonderful roommates. Have fun, let go of me. Ugh, so noisy. Thank you. The voice of his ex-wife echoes through my ears one final time before disappearing for good. How tragic, someone who tried to do nothing but good for a bastard like him, she deserved better. Wait, doesn't that mean there's now 10% shares completely missing? I scratch my head furiously after realizing that. This is so frustrating. Where the hell are they disappearing to anyway? Well, I might as well go hand in this recording to put that pig in prison. I finally have a free afternoon as well. What should I do? Boom, sounds of explosions echo all around me. Haha. Haha, I look around and see a group of heroes and interns laying before me, weak, defenseless. Almost comical. Haha. You heroes act like you're better than everyone else. How does it feel to be weak? I continue to laugh. At this point I can't tell if it's the effects of this woman's quirk, or if it's because of all my repressed emotions coming out. Stop this, a voice whispered from behind me. Oh, it's you. You love to make people laugh. All the screams in my head, all the voices. Everyone who begged for your help. How many people did you let down, for my ears to burn this much? How many people did you kill? I shout maniacally as I pull her head upwards, grabbing her by her hair to see the tears stream down her cheek. Not so funny, is it? Haha. I just had an amazing idea. What if you hear what I'm hearing? Maybe the screams of the people you let down will refresh your laughter, like it has mine. Haha. I slowly place both of my hands on her temples, letting the wailing screams enact. Her screams and shrieks echoes. Her expression of pain distorts into a face of insanity. 3 hours earlier. Toga PFFT. This is so boring, she says as she continues to tap a pen on the table annoyingly. Deku, what's up? Toga, there's nothing to do here. I want to have some fun. How about I take some of your blood, and we play a game of who's who? She says whilst giving off a carnivorous grin. Deku, I don't want to play that again, last time was mortifying. You know what, I'm sorry for even asking. I say as I shivered from remembering what Toga was like, whilst transformed as me. I tried so hard to repress those thoughts. It was worse than any torture I had suffered so far. Toga, come on. Kurogiri, Toga and Deku, listen closely as we're going forwards with our plans. Toga, finally. Something fun. Shigaraki, because you two brats have such good chemistry, you two will be paired up during the attack. Deku, what? Toga, Deku, are you seriously doing this as part of the plan, or are you doing this because you know it will be torture for me? Shigaraki, it's for the plan, he replied quickly with a slight grin. It definitely wasn't part of the plan. Kurogiri, you two will be responsible for the upper districts of Hosu, where internships will take place. For more information, the closest internships would be from Ketsubetsu Academy and UA. Deku, so how long until we begin? Kurogiri preparations are currently being made, however the task force will move out in roughly an hour. We have taken the suggestions you had made and altered them to save our resources. An hour, huh? That gives me roughly enough time to finish my tasks. But seriously, why did I get paired up with Toga and not someone like Dabi? I can almost guarantee that she will make my life more difficult. If it weren't for her personality, her quirk would be a major asset. I should go over with her what we should do when the attacks start. I also need to try and limit myself for this attack. If the side effects of my quirk gets too intense, I may not have a rational mind to proceed with the plans. Last time at USJ, I pushed my power too far. Every thought in my mind was screaming to kill everyone. If not for my willpower, I probably would have gone on a rampage and lost my mind. Hey, Toga. Yes, Deku-kun. Let's go over the plan. Why do we have to have a plan? We can have more fun if we just do what we want. As she said that, my previous thoughts of her making my life more difficult began to resurface. What can I do to convince her? Maybe I should go ask to trade you with Dabi. 2 guys against a lot of amazing women. I don't think we can hold ourselves back. I'm cringing just by saying this. But if I know Toga's personality well enough, she shall know. No, I listen. What's the plan? She says eagerly, as if to keep me all for herself. Too easy, way too easy. I begin to explain my plan to Toga. She has a surprised expression, which turns to an extremely joyful one soon after. You should have just said that in the first place. That sounds like so much fun. Alright then, I'm gonna finish my work. When we begin to attack, you will follow what I said, right? Yeah. She says joyfully in response. As time passes, she doesn't utter a word, she just smiles whilst lost in her own thoughts. Why can't she be happy and quiet most of the time when she's like this? She's actually pretty cute. I suddenly find myself in a new place. Kurogiri. Deku looks around, his eyes grow wide as he starts to laugh to himself. Haha. Oh, this is going to be fun. He looks at all the test tubes, all the Nomus, far surpassing his expectations. But much more than that, he sees little robonoids with explosives attached to them. They look like mechanical birds. Are the heroes even going to be able to stop us? You seem ecstatic. I had my doubts about this plan before, but now, I see. You seem to have dealt with your previous anxieties since we last met. Of course. I wouldn't be able to live up to Stain's name if I acted weak and pathetic. Why don't we get down to business, then? I gave Shigaraki an opportunity to redeem himself after his last failure at USJ. However, I have a different purpose for you. Oh? That sounds fun. I'm all ears, all for one. That bastard is really insane. Even the thought of his plan makes me nervous to my core. Ding, my phone starts to go off. This only happens for extremely important emails, either from my secretary or from the design department. I stare at it as I chuckle to myself. It's some drafts for alterations to the hero costumes after the internships finish. Specifically Katsuki's and Uravity. It would be hilarious if I stuck bombs to his suit. However, if I did that, my company would be targeted by the media. I need something that isn't obvious, but would still impair him. Wait a minute. If I use his trademark dots and altered his suit to emit an electromagnetic pulse, whilst making his gauntlets react by putting safety measures, I can render his costume completely dysfunctional. Deku started to brainstorm a range of different ideas to be able to ruin Katsuki's chances of being a hero. One of which, if he had missed an opportunity to save someone, he might take the failure onto himself, blaming himself and depending on the situation, even ruining his reputation. So many different ways to ruin him. Which one is my favorite? With all the preparations completed, the task force had finally started to move. I moved alongside them with a grin on my face the entire time. Toga and I headed to Hosu. I got sick of constantly changing my attire, so I made alterations to my clothes. I had used a much more flexible material, so as it doesn't tear easily. I had also made it so it's difficult to stain. My mask before was shattered into pieces, to a point where I couldn't fix it again, and if I had, it would just be a mask. The ability attached to it is also gone. Instead, I decided to design a mask to mock All Might. It covers my mouth only, and it's a black mask contrasted with a bright smile, reminiscent of All Might. I couldn't change my hair as a wig would just get in the way, so instead I made up for it by wearing contacts, which changed my eye color. At least this way, I wouldn't be recognized straight away. As we got to Hosu, I took 24 mechanical birds out of my void storage. I let them fly freely. Toga looked at me with a smile as she can see the pure enjoyment in my eyes. As the sounds of screeching from the Nomus and the explosions from the birds, along with the pure chaotic screams of the civilians, a chaotic smile appeared onto Deku's face. It was a smile urging for more. As explosions ripped apart the buildings, the fallen debris created a dust cloud. Heroes were immediately dispatched to save everyone. The first of the heroes had arrived. As according to the plan, Deku swiftly knocked out the hero without any effort. The cloud of smoke covering any actions as the hero was taken away without any notice. Toga drew their blood, taking their communication device. Toga transformed into the fallen hero, mimicking their appearance and voice. We need assistance. Several dozen villains had appeared. We need urgent help. There are no moves ever. Toga cut out the communication mid-sentence. Deku-kan is so smart ignoring her. I got on with the next stage of the plan. If we had listened to Shigaraki, everything probably would be a mess. Kurajiri, let's move to the next location. Right away. With all the attention being drawn to the central plaza, we can take out the heroes outside dealing with the evacuation protocols, alongside the interns without dealing with Endeavor or All Might. Next location. 30 minutes had passed since the bombing attack started. It originally started in Hosu, however. The other league members are attacking all other locations. Citizens are in a panic as villains are causing a mass destruction of property. Heroes are clueless as the attacks seem to be happening almost simultaneously. Pro-heroes are on the scene but cannot seem to catch the perpetrators. Evacuation is happening at your nearest shelters. Please head there immediately. Deku looks at Kurajiri, who is visibly exhausted after an extreme amount of jumps. The next part of the plan is commencing. Toga seems exhausted as well. She had mimicked the voice of a dozen people. The side effects of the overuse of her quirk is overwhelming her now. Toga and I head to the next location. This time, however, we are purely stopping evacuation from happening. We run into the first group of internships. Please head to the evacuation shelter. One of the students shouts loudly at us. You think we need evacuating? I reply calmly to gauge his reaction. He winces slightly after feeling the pressure I made. My smile unintentionally turns crescent as I look down on the young hero. He takes a slight step back before moving his arm to press a button. Yes, tell your friends to come here. It just means I get to have more fun. Deku-kun, can I leave his friends a present? I think they would like. A twisted corpse terror emerges on the intern's face. He shakes in fear as we stare him. How boring. I guess you will just suffice. The young hero charges forwards. His fingers turn into miniature cannons. Bullets shoot by me to my surprise. One of them struck my arm. Are you kidding me? Do you think this is some game? For me maybe. For you, you're fighting for your life. Are you joking with me? I pick up the rubber bullet embedded into my arm and flick it away. The hero tried to incapacitate me instead of kill. How unfortunate. He rushes forwards, turning his fingers into knives. What a fun quirk. As he rushes at me, I trip his leg. He doesn't seem to have much combat training. Why would he try to go close quarters? As I trip his leg, he facepalms into the muddy ground. I walk around him to meet his eyes. I lift his head by pulling on his hair. I could see pure anguish on his face. What type of hero course trains weaklings like you? As I state that question, Toga eagerly raises her arm as if I was a teacher. I try to play along best I can. Yes, Toga-san. I recognize this course. They have their own costume department. They have a weird design by marking their hero costumes with a double streak. I think their name was Akagibana. It's Kakugawa and wait until the heroes come. Villains like you don't stand a chance. But I haven't even used my quirk. You don't even know who I am. Haha noise comes from a nearby intersection. It sounds like a group of people. I guess here they are. How would you feel if you had to fight your friends? But hey, I guess you really don't have a choice. Puppet strings. I take control of the student. This is the first time I'm using my new version of puppet strings. Instead of attaching dark strings to the joints of the body, I'm using the shadows inside the body itself. The muscles, the organs, and dark spaces inside the body I can manipulate. It has some limitations, such as needing time to gather the shadows and only using it on one person, but it gives me far more control. With more experimenting, I might even be able to make use of their quirks. A group of 6 people charges forwards to see their own intern and friends standing against them. The intern hadn't reversed his quirk, so his fingers are still knives. However, controlling him and using my own body feels like looking right and left at the same time. It feels like it's impossible. However, seeing the faces of his comrades distort as they realize who I am and what I'm about to do just makes me feel whole. I'm joining the villains. Heroes are just pathetic. They have shown me the new way to freedom. I control his facial muscles and vocals to speak for him. My smile curled up as I sit down to watch. I motion for Toga to sit down with me. This ought to be a good show. Rakuto, what are you saying? Their reactions are priceless. I wish I could do this constantly. It would make the plan much more efficient. However, it requires me to control the individual themselves, and if I use my quirk that much, I might just go insane. Thankfully, I have Toga here to help me instead. Rakuto-san, you don't mean that, do you? You strive to become the #1 hero. How could you join them? The pro hero looks on and almost looks as if they are analyzing the situation. This is worse than I thought. I know Rakuto's personality, and judging by the forced look on his face, you must be the puppeteer. He's right, although he's a bit brainless. Why didn't he act like he didn't know and secretly call the heroes to me? Does he think he stands a chance against me? What a joke, I say as I slouch down on my side. Toga takes the chance by kicking out my elbow and forcing me onto her lap. The smile on her face is almost sickening. You. What are you doing? Right in front of us. One of the young women of the group points out whilst pushing up her glasses slightly. How distasteful. Scumbag. I must have been mistaken, you're merely a pervert. Nice one, dude. Rakuto. Did this perv bribe you with women? You, what a pervert. Scumbag. I can almost feel both of our souls being crushed by all these insults. Both of our reputations are getting put through the gutter because of Toga's actions, and she doesn't even care. Her face is bright red. Ugh, what the hell is even going on anymore? Whilst I'm distracted, I unconsciously put my hand on the inner part of Toga's thigh. I realized what I just did and was about to retreat before bam, I hit my head hard on the concrete. What the hell was that strength? Wait a minute, I actually got pushed away by Toga. She's covering her face with both of her hands in sheer embarrassment. Haha, so she does feel embarrassment, maybe it's shame. Anyway, I can use this for the future. Are you guys done with your bit? As I look back on, every one of their faces is flushed bright red, including Rakuto's. Well, I suppose we should get a move on, we can't be here forever. Mentally suppressing my shame. Star cough anyway. Let's begin already. I move Rakuto forwards, controlling him is really difficult. I maintain a certain range, as he moves further away it gets harder to control. Rakuto rushes forwards to hit 5 squad mates and the pro hero. The pro hero organizes 3 of them whilst telling the others to stay back as they are not suited for this kind of fight. Rakuto slashes at the woman who accused him of being a pervert. The pro hero pushes the student aside, as the pro made a web to block their attack. What a disappointment. You have such an amazing quirk, and yet you use it like that. Although I could let Rakuto-kan here fight all of you, I do want to show you how to make use of strings. You know nothing, oh really? You acted like you could beat me before. You were so confident that you didn't even bother to inform your comrades that I am here. Why would I need to call them? There are 6 of us and 2 of you. We can win without their support, and I will rise in the rankings for being the person who defeated the puppeteer, who gave even All Might a difficult time. You know, I don't kill. However, for you who tramples on what a hero truly means, I think I can make an exception. Even the students behind him are completely shocked by his outlandish statement. They will never be a true hero. They're the type of person who tramples on Stain's legacy. They're the type of person who doesn't deserve to be a hero. So I will make it so they won't be able to stand, let alone do hero work again. I put my hands into the void and pull out a new version of my support gear. They automatically attach to my hand as I made designs to lock them in place as I touch them. I showed the pro that I could mimic their quirk with support gear. I moved closer and closer to them, turning each of my strings on one hand into electrified whips. The pro tried to shoot his strings towards me as I casually dodged them, the others of which I couldn't dodge I merely countered with my own strings. As I got closer and closer, his feeble attempts started to annoy me. I used the strings on my hand and wrapped them around the throat of the pro. He couldn't even avoid my attack. A small-time hero will always be a small-time hero. Judging by your reactions, you've never even been in a real fight before. GHHGA, I throw the pro over a lamppost. He starts to suffocate to death as he's being hung. That's too easy. I wrap the strings of my support gear under his arms and loosen the restraints around his neck. Now please tell me where you went wrong in this fight. You will never win. Wrong answer, I. He screams in pain as my electrified whip struck his body. Where did you go wrong? I shouldn't have become a hero. True but ruin. I try again. The hero starts to cry. His battered interns even witness it as they crawl on the floor from being beaten by their own comrades. I should have called for help. I'm garbage. I shouldn't be alive. I shouldn't be arrogant. I'm weak. Please don't hurt me. Ding ding ding. However, you forgot one thing. What? You shouldn't be a hero, I say as I laugh at him lightly. But I said that, you GHHH. I guess he blacked out due to the pain. What an amateur. As I say that, I hit various pressure points on Rakuto, forcing him to black out. As I regain more control of my powers, I go through with my original idea. Puppet strings. I take control of the pro, himself. But this wasn't to control them. No. This was to crush him. I use my power to control the darkness around his bones and muscles, and burst crunch. I clench my hand, creating dark spikes, ripping his body apart. This is the same move I used on Muscular, however, it's far less powerful as I didn't want to kill them, I only want to show them how useless they can be without their quirk. How pitiful and the pain you receive from others even just by meeting their eyes, their gazes, the gazes of many that treat you like you're nothing but filth. That you're useless. That's what I want these so-called pro heroes to feel. I crush them completely. I separate the muscles needed to stand and to make hand movements. This way, he can be a hero. Bam bam, bullets are shot directly at me. I block it with my hands, as I didn't have time to react. My support gear is completely ruined as it blocks the bullets from going straight through my hand. The bullets came from Rakuto. I thought he had passed out by now, but I guess he held on. These weren't rubber bullets either, these were real bullets. I guess he has potential, after all. I'm sure if he could, he would have gone for the head. I underestimated him. He passed out once again. I unconsciously let out a wry smile as I turned my attention back to my support gear. Haha, what a shame. But I guess I don't need it anymore. Ahaha, this is hilarious. Why am I laughing? I shouldn't be laughing. What's going on? Deku-kun, are you okay? Toga says, really concerned as she hasn't seen me act like this before. I start to look around before I hear, did you do this? The hero that came with the sound of screams and gunshots in the distance, looks around, and the mutilated body of the pro hero and the bloodied, yet still conscious bodies of the interns. Now I know why I'm laughing. Of course, it had to be her. Ms. Joke, but despite her surprise appearance and her unusual serious demeanor, there is something unsettling about her. It hurts, haha. It hurts my ears. I haven't had a sensation like this in a while. I'll ask you again, did you do this? As the dust arose from a distance, and a figure stepped out of the smoke. The atmosphere darkened as I was asked a question. I'll ask you again, did you do this? Haha. Why, of course I did. I'm out of my goddamn mind, why wouldn't I? Ahaha. I guess there's no reason to stall this any longer than he. Do you really think you can win? You're nothing but a joke. One-on-one, maybe not. But who said I was alone? Chains are suddenly fired off through the dust, catching me by surprise. They hold my arms backward, locking me into place. I know you are. You will pay for what you did to Izawa. Wasn't he a teacher at UA? Can you refresh my memory? I don't remember every asshole who crosses my path. I say, whilst pulling forwards, testing the integrity of the chains. They weren't normal, they must be someone's quirk. How many people have surrounded us? I can't tell. You think you're a god? Do you think by imitating our comrades' voices that you can get away with anything? We are that stupid. Give up. A voice suddenly rises up that has been quiet until now. Hey you skank, what are you doing with my deku? Ahaha, Toga says as she charges forwards. The closer Toga got, the more she started to laugh and giggle. Until she collapsed on the floor, crying from laughter. Deku hi, and here I thought you were known as the puppeteer, she says in an exaggerated tone whilst waving around her hands. Obviously trying to distract us. How long are we going to play these games? You have nowhere to go. What game do you think we are playing? Haha, well, I thought it went a little like this. I use my shadows to pull the chains towards me, sending the quirk user flying. I throw them forwards as I snap their chains and simply clap my hands ole. I say as if to taunt her. I look at the chain user as I see their grotesque sight. No wonder the chains felt odd, to think you would make them out of your own bones. Too bad that there are a lot of dark spaces in bones, tearing them apart is simple for me. Anybody else might have not broken out of it. TCH, I guess it isn't that easy. She says as she moves her hand as if to signal something, or they positioning around me and keeping me busy with small talk. That can't happen. Toga. I say to get her attention as I tie my shadow bind around her limbs to pull her away. She gradually stands up, wiping the tears away. But the most important thing is that her laughter is having less and less of an effect on me. Why? Ignoring that fact, I whisper to Toga. Take advantage of the dust and smoke. There should be people creating a formation around us. I'll make a diversion. Do your thing. She silently nods in response. I can't play this how I usually do. I don't know how many pro heroes are here. It's obvious that Endeavor or All Might has yet to arrive, as if they were here they would attack me without hesitation. It may be a bluff on her part to stall for time and save the interns. What is she planning? I can't get close to her. I guess this will have to do. I jump backwards to get distance as I use my shadow bind to create whip similar to my support gear. I grab the surrounding rubble with these strings and slams it into the ground all around us. Making dust rise up even more, I throw the rest of the rubble at the building near the interns, forcing some of the heroes in the dust to rush towards them. Whilst they are distracted, Toga disappears into the smoke. I start throwing them towards Ms. Joke. Because of the flexibility of my shadows, they should do some damage. This way I can avoid being hit by her quirk too much. Ms. Joke tries to dodge them, however, Deku predicted her dodge patterns as he watched a lot of her previous battles. She dodged right, only to get hit by a large piece of rubble. Deku used the first one as a feint. As she got hit, she blocked it with one hand and her other supporting it. Her wrist bends backward as the rubble broke off midair and slammed into two parts of her arm, dislocating her wrist. Her arm turned bloody as she supported it with the other. She looks extremely nervous, as if she was expecting something else. Loud thudding can be heard in the smoke, as if bodies are dropping left and right. I see, this must be Toga's doing. I smile wryly as I realize that I don't have to do everything on my own anymore. I have someone to help and support me. As I continue to think about Toga, my wry confident smile slowly turned into a gentle one, as more thoughts of Toga appeared in my mind without realizing it. I shake my head, dismissing my thoughts. It's just a side effect of overusing my quirk. Calm down. Where are your heroes? Suddenly another chain attack comes from the dust. I suppose he recovered. Knowing they're just bone though, I use puppet strings on the bones itself, controlling the direction the chains are going. I redirect the chains to Ms. Joke's mangled arm. As it attaches, the chain pulls back and dislocates her arm from her socket. The heroes start to drop out of the mist. Toga did well. I start to walk closer to Ms. Joke, to her surprise. She tries to strike me. I block her punch and twisted her arm, causing her to scream out in pain. The shouting along with constant screams I'm hearing of the damned I lost it. I throw punch her, making her gasp for breath as I throw her over my shoulder onto the ground. You want to see something funny? I say as I pull a remote out of my void storage. All the heroes and interns lie around Toga and I press the button. Little robotic bird drones fly into the buildings, destroying homes and causing more rubble to fall towards the heroes and interns, burying them under some of the rubble. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. I look around and see a group of heroes and interns laying before me, weak, defenseless. Almost comical. Ha ha. You heroes act like you're better than everyone else. How does it feel to be weak? I continue to laugh. At this point, I can't tell if it's the effects of this woman's quirk, or if it's because of all my repressed emotions coming out. Stop, a voice whispered from behind me. Oh, it's you. You love to make people laugh. All the screams in my head, all the voices. Everyone who begged for your help. How many people did you let down, for my ears to burn this much? How many people did you kill? I shout maniacally as I pull her head upwards, grabbing her by her hair to see the tears stream down her cheek. Not so funny, is it? Haha. I just had an amazing idea. What if you hear what I'm hearing? Maybe the screams of the people you let down will refresh your laughter, like it has mine. Haha. I slowly place both of my hands on her temples, letting the wailing screams in her screams and shrieks echoes. Her expression of pain distorts into the face of insanity. She won't be able to laugh after this. She will be tormented like I was by the endless screams of the damned. Unlike her, though, I become numb to it. As she screams more and more, the effects of her quirk get less effective. Her quirk has stopped working. A wry smile appears on my face as I start to laugh of my own accord. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. This is priceless. I say as I wipe a tear out of the corner of my eye for laughing so much. A sound from behind me interrupts my laughter. It's great that you're having fun, Deku-kun. I don't get to see your smile too often. I took out all the heroes and made them fight each other. Did I do well? Toga asks energetically. Her appearance isn't surprising, but having her here supporting me, it feels odd. It's not as if I hate it, but her presence alone makes me want to smile. It makes me want to spoil her. Didn't I hate her? I guess this is just another side effect of my quirk. You did really well, I say positively as I hug her lightly, holding the back of her head in my embrace. Her face turns flush. I smile gently as I turn back to Ms. Joke. I guess we should end this charade, I say as I click my remote again, making more explosives to be launched. It was 3 times the amount of the previous explosives. The surrounding houses completely collapse. They would fall and kill all the surrounding heroes. However, amongst the dust, a figure can be seen holding up the collapsed building, protecting the heroes I see. The main event has arrived. Hey there, All Might. Young Midoriya, haha, so you figured out who I am. I'm sorry, I should have never said you shouldn't be a hero. I am responsible for you. Oh, I might just stop being a villain, I say whilst putting on a really sad expression, as if I'm contemplating everything that I've done as a villain. You can, he says, whilst struggling to hold up the debris. Deku-kun. What? Is my acting that good that even you believe me, Toga-chan? I say as I flick her head. I believe there's still good in you. Your mother is worried about you. You even intruded on my personal life. What a great hero. I say sarcastically. Please, young Midoriya. You can stop this. We can give you immunity for prosecution. For some, that might be a good deal. To have all immunity at no extra cost. That sounds too fishy. It's not like I would take it anyway. I believe you can be reasoned with. All Might says with a smile. That smile, that fucking smile that gave me hope every day, that smile that ripped everything away from me. What about poor little Izawa? I'm sure your little friends at UA would love to set me free in the world. I try to dig under All Might's skin to see his true intentions. You will be given a new identity. You will be given a new life, just tell us. Where is All for One hiding? He is the only person who could do this. I put my hand over my face. Not to hide my tears from hearing his true intentions, but my smile. Ha 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 ha. Brilliant. You went from trying to help me, to trying to stop the only person who actually gave me hope in this pitiful world. Young, don't call me that. My name is Deku, I shout loudly, interrupting him. You know. I always still had a tinge of hope left. Maybe if I talk with them, I will understand why. Why everyone shot me down, treated me like trash. But seeing you and talking to you now, I finally understand. In this world, everything is merely a game. Everything is a game. But Nuo. I don't have any humanity left for scum like you. As my intent to kill grew larger than before, an ominous feeling could be felt through the air. All Might understood that there was no more time for talking as he looked on with a serious expression, looking down on Deku. All Might tries to protect the fallen heroes and interns. I set off one last explosion. This time on the evacuation center. Screams could be heard as the evacuation center crumbled. All Might rushed to protect those from fallen debris. I walked slowly towards the center that was barely in view. As it came more and more into view, All Might can be seen holding the collapsed pillar from falling. He is the pillar holding everything together. Just one more. As I approach All Might, who couldn't move due to the building collapsing and who is worn out from stopping attacks all over the city. I pick up a piece of steel and scratched it against the ground. Screech, the sound of a steel bar screeching against the concrete can be heard. As it creates sparks, All Might couldn't do anything but watch. I drew closer and closer before All Might shifted his balance. He held up the building with one arm. With his other, he starts to shout with pain, as if he has no other options. Texas smash wind pressure blew both me and Toga away. I stopped myself from flying by stabbing the steel pole into the ground. Toga, you alright? I say as I recover from the punch without looking back. Toga. Silence fills the air as I have a bad feeling in my gut. I turned around to see Toga, who was completely blown away in the attack, who was sent flying into a destroyed building with metal poles everywhere. As the dust clears, I see a piece of construction steel sticking out of Toga's stomach. Blood gushed everywhere as I fell into a moment of shock. Toga. I rushed over towards Toga. She was bleeding heavily. I don't think I can stop the bleeding fast enough after taking out the pole. I look back at All Might. I want to kill him, he needs to die. If I don't take this gamble, Toga could die. I don't know if it would even work, no. I can't hesitate, Izuku-kun. Hearing her words, I make up my mind. I need to take this gamble. As I pull Toga off the pole, screams of pain could be heard as she bleeds further. I quickly put her in my void. I had tested this on guinea pigs, but I couldn't be sure this would work. As we vanished from sight, Toga started to suffocate due to the lack of oxygen from the moment we entered the void realm. Knowing I might need to do this one day, I stopped. I attach it to Toga as blood continues to spill. I quickly ripped the bottom of her shirt, where the wound was covering. I checked and luckily none of her vitals are damaged. I quickly wrapped bandages around Toga. My void storage works to retain the quality of the items. Even food won't go bad if I store them here. Meaning, if my theory is correct, time itself is stopped within this space. Once I leave, she shouldn't even realize time had passed. It's similar to my theory on how it looks as if time has stopped by its, merely because shadows can travel as fast as light, as shadows will always follow. In this case, does it depend on what side I'm on? Time will stall when I'm in the void, and when I'm outside, time in the void will stall. Nevertheless, it's my saving grace, as of now. If I hadn't gotten this specific quirk, if I wasn't curious about my quirk, what would have happened? If I wasn't someone who prepares in advance, what would have happened? Toga would be dead. It's All Might's fault. It's always his fault. Toga, I'm sorry. I left my void space as soon as possible. Will she really be okay? Doubts entered my mind as I realized. I need to be more prepared. Please be okay, Toga. As I leave my void, All Might has a surprised expression as Toga vanished completely. I pick up the piece of steel once again, as I control All Might's body with puppet strings. This time, I won't make a mistake. This time, All Might will die. All Might, I can forgive you for making me have false hope. I can even learn to forgive you for crushing my dreams, but for hurting Toga you will pay with your life. As I approached All Might, his smile disappeared. He knew what was about to happen. He tried to shake off my puppet string, to which he managed to dispel my shadows and block the pole, but as soon as he did, the building started to crumble. At the moment that he hesitated to counterattack me and instead went to hold the building, at that moment I stabbed the steel pole into All Might's chest. I took the pole straight out, leading blood to gush like a fountain. As he collapsed on the spot and the building fell apart. All the people inside were already evacuated. You were so focused on me that you didn't realize the building you were trying to stop from falling had already been evacuated moments ago. Do you have anything else to say? How about sorry? You nearly killed my friend. Do you have anything to say at all? You ruined my life. I could have been a hero. You can be better. Ahaha. Haha. That's it. To his silence, I composed myself, realizing that I am not that same kid anymore who strived to be a hero. Goodbye. The symbol of peace. Midoriya, you don't have to do this. You could still help people cough, All Might says in one final breath to stop Deku. At that moment, he coughed up a mouthful of blood. If you said in the beginning that I could be a hero, I wonder how our fates would turn out. But you caused this for yourself. You hurt the one I care about. You deserve this. I say, trying to hold back my anger as much as I can. He doesn't deserve a fast death. Toga, I will make him pay for what he did to you. Star, your career as a hero is done. How about I take away your signature punch as well? I say as I surround the pole with a layer of shadows. It sharpens it, as it acts as a sword. I cut All Might's arm off with ease, as blood began to gush everywhere. His right arm drops to the ground as the building collapses below half of his body. He is still conscious. He won't live through this. Even then I have to make sure. I have to deal the final blow. As I'm about to strike down on All Might Puppeteer, a loud roar approached as Endeavor screamed from the shadows. He sees All Might pinned to the ground. As he charges towards me, he throws a blaze of fire straight at me. Tired from everything that had happened, I couldn't move my body fast enough. The fire scorched the side of my jaw. It created a burn mark from my cheek to my neck. I couldn't feel anything, and in response, I merely said, "Sir Night, we are too late," Mirio says, as they all witness, All Might disarmed, crushed under rubble and defeated. "I told you this would happen, why didn't you listen?" Night mutters to himself. Uninterested in what they have to say, I leave fast in order to make sure Toga is okay. "Kurogiri, we're done here." A shadow suddenly appears as if he was always watching me, ready to intervene. "Good work today, we have finally dealt with the symbol of peace, let's leave," Kurogiri says, as I merely nod in response. Our mission had been achieved. The symbol of peace is dead. Puppeteer, no Deku. I will avenge All Might. I suppose All Might still have his comms open, they heard everything. Mirio states. I look forward to it, I say as I disappear into the shadows with Kurogiri, leaving nothing but a smile as I leave. Urgent news report. The symbol of peace is gone. During the crisis at Hosu, many locations were targeted by a group known as the League of Villains. During one of the attacks, a group of 13 heroes and interns were struck down by the villain, Puppeteer, who is now confirmed to be Izuku Midoriya, who refers to himself as Deku. During this attack, to protect those who had fallen, All Might covered for them, one of which was the hero known as Ms. Joke. In this battle she was crippled by the villains formerly known as the Puppeteer, until the villains unleashed an attack on the evacuation center. All Might saved everyone by holding together. With this chance, Deku finished the symbol of peace. We have footage from CCTV that shows some moments that were captured. You will be given a new identity. You will be given a new life. Just tell us where is All for One hiding. He is the only person who could do this. Ha 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 ha. Brilliant. You went from trying to help me, to trying to stop the only person who actually gave me hope in this pitiful world. Young, don't call me that. My name is Deku, you know. I always still had a tinge of hope left. Maybe if I talk with them, I will understand why. Why everyone shot me down, treated me like trash. But seeing you and talking to you now, I finally understand. In this world, everything is merely a game. Everything is a game. But no, I don't have any humanity left for scum like you. Screech, Texas smash. The CCTV was damaged after All Might's attack. But from eyewitnesses, it seems that Deku took advantage of All Might's goodwill and tricked him. All Might's condition is currently unknown. Izuku Midoriya was a quirkless kid. He strived to do his best in school and was treated as a good friend. Teachers often praise him for his good work, and he was even accepted to intern for the Camino Corporation. The president of the Camino Corporation had no further comments. How did a boy with so much potential like this turn into the person who crushed the symbol of peace? More on this later on. UA students POV Deku. He was how? Why did he do that? Bakugo shouted with tears in his eyes as he realizes that what he saw during the USJ incident wasn't a lie. He did see Deku. If he had only reported it, he might have saved All Might. Even then, he was the one who made him like that. He caused this. He is the reason the symbol of peace is dead. Midoriya killed my brother. I was face to face with him, and I couldn't tell that anything was wrong. Lita grits his teeth, thinking that if Deku actually had fallen off the mountain at that time, his brother would still be alive. Uraraka had nothing to say, but looked down in disappointment. The one that she had made a friendship with. The one she tried to contact for tips on how to beat Bakugo at the sports festival. Even though he didn't reply, she thought that they were friends, but to find out that he was Deku, that he was the one that killed the symbol of peace, she couldn't take it. Bakugo left his room. He felt lightheaded. He couldn't process the information. Deku. That weakling, the one who loved All Might as much as him, why did he kill the symbol of peace? He punched the wall, blaming himself for everything that happened until Bakugo collapsed on the floor. He couldn't take in the information, he passed out from shock. The little brat that always followed him around saying how cool he was did this. Toga POV beep beep beep. A steady sound of a heart rate monitor echoes through the room. Toga wakes up, still dizzy. She wondered what happened. Is Izuku alright? As she begins to question it, she looks to her side to see that she's in a hospital bed, and that her hand is held tightly. Izuku held her hand as he was still sleeping. He looked malnourished, skinny, and exhausted. The underside of his eyes is red. Has he been crying? For me. His eyes suddenly open as I move slightly to look around more. Tuga. Yes. I say in response. Toga. Thank God you're awake. He smiles brightly as he suddenly hugged me tightly. It's warm, but ah. I grunt a little bit as I feel a slight pain in my abdomen. Sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. It's all my fault. What is he saying? Why is it his fault? Don't apologize. I was the one who was weak. I say meekly, as I still feel exhausted. What happened whilst I was out? To my words, Izuku didn't answer. I could tell through that entire incident that he was pushing himself. He did act like himself. He acted like a crazed beast hunting for his prey. I look up slightly at the now stand Midoriya. Instead of his usual vest, he's wearing a sweatshirt. How long has he been here? But more importantly, how did that happen? I slowly lift my hand to press the side of his face. There's a burn scar going from his neck to his cheek. Does it hurt? I ask without realizing it. Focus on yourself for once, stupid. He says whilst forcing a smile. I could see tears swell up in the corner of his eyes. He has never acted like this way towards me before. If he's like this, I can't help but love him. As I was about to say something, the doctor suddenly walked through the door. Where are we anyway? If they knew we were villains, wouldn't they report us to the police? Why aren't we at the League of Villains? So many unanswered questions. Your husband carried you here. He hasn't drunk anything, eaten, or even slept for 4 days. Last night he passed out from hunger. You really are lucky to have someone so dedicated. Who husband? I look over to Izuku, who didn't say a word. What's happening? He's been here for 4 days, doctor. Could you give us a second? Right. I'll leave you two lovebirds to it. That's not what I mean. The doctor left without even letting him finish. His face is flushed bright red as he tries to hide. He coughs and straightens himself up. All for One gave us a gift. Because of what we did and the fact that at the bar there was no medical equipment, he used a quirk on us that disguised our appearances. To the doctors and staff, we are just a newlywed couple who got injured on their honeymoon. And newlywed. I'm so happy. I wish I could die right now. Toga-chan. He asks curiously as I begin to look down. Can you do me a favor? I ask, hoping to use this situation to my advantage. Anything. Can you call me Himiko? He suddenly turns flush again. I giggle slightly to myself as all of his reactions are so cute. He covers his face slightly as he says hi Miko-chan. I smile brightly. Even if it sounds stupid, I'm glad I got injured. He seems like he has something he wants to say. What wrong? I ask, nervously. I'm sorry. Even though you were my partner during the mission, I should have protected you. I lost my mind of greed. I'm sorry. I promise to protect you and be with you from now. He says with a serious tone. I don't even think he knows what he just said. PFFT. My face goes flush as I think to myself, that sounds like a proposal. Deku notices my red face and looked bewildered for a moment before gasping and turning bright red as well. That's no. I didn't mean to. I haven't seen him flustered in a while. Too cute. League of Villains POV. That brat actually managed to do it, Shigaraki says as he scratches his neck furiously. He took my prey. All Might was mine. All for One listens to him. Instead of having a joyful face, it turns slightly dark and sour. Even though Deku did in fact defeat All Might. He wanted to break his spirit. He wanted to make All Might know that Shigaraki was his master's grandson. Even if All Might is dead, the symbol of peace still lives. He still has a successor. Nevertheless, he's a greater asset to Shigaraki than I thought. Next volume. Mother Deku stands against his mother's hospital bed. Knowing that she's in this position because of him, he can't help but feel sorrow. There is a war brewing. I created this. I should finish it, the leader of a business, with armies at his command, fighting against the Yakuza. Redestro versus Overhaul. I will save you, Yuri. I won't let you live in fear anymore. I'll let you smile freely. And that concludes this episode. If you enjoyed it, I'd seriously love it if you guys could leave a like on the video, as it genuinely helps out so much, and it keeps me going, plus it takes only 1 second. That said, have a wonderful day. See you in the next one.